Good afternoon, SYC. As you might be able to tell, I've tried something new and I've got a buzz cut. I hope during this lockdown period you guys can try something new as well. And the new thing that I'm encouraging us to try today is to maybe hear God in the ordinary things in our lives. And I'm going to do that by looking at a passage in Exodus 13 that goes like this. By day the Lord went ahead of them in a pillar of cloud to guide them on their way, and by night in a pillar of fire to give them light, so that they could travel by day or night. Neither the pillar of cloud by day nor the pillar of fire by night left its place in front of the people. Here's a passage where we see how God guides his people through their season in the desert. He is always there, he is always present, guiding and leading. And I think for us we can have the same sense of God is always wanting to lead and guide. Are we noticing? Are we listening? And I want to look today particularly at this pillar of cloud. For us, cloud is a pretty ordinary thing, especially the last few days with all this rain. Cloud has been there, been present. And I think there's a sense of God is there, he is present. Are we listening to what he might be saying? As we look in Scripture, often the presence of cloud points to God's presence. That when there is cloud, God is there wanting to meet people, wanting to speak to them. And in the Old Testament, guidance is kind of a big high stakes thing. For the prophets, if they say to someone that they feel like God is saying this and they get it wrong, they get killed for it. And often I think we take this approach to hearing from God as well. That if we get it wrong, if we make a mistake, it's life or death, it's high stakes. But I think the encouraging thing is that after Jesus' life, death, resurrection and ascension to heaven, that things have changed, that actually it's not as high stakes anymore, that we can hear from God and we're not going to get killed for it if we say that we think we've heard from God. And even as we look to Paul in the New Testament in 1 Corinthians 13, he talks about actually in this age we see what God is doing through dark glass. This sense that actually we're all going to get it wrong because we can't quite see the full picture. But there is still a God who is speaking, who is communicating, who is wanting to guide us through this time. So I want to encourage you this time to be thinking, actually, like cloud is ever present, maybe God is ever present in your life. Maybe he's wanting to speak and guide you. And it might be in surprising ways. It might be in ways that you never thought he could speak before. That he's actually been there and maybe you've missed it. Maybe some of the thoughts that have been popping into your mind as you pray, as you read the Bible, as you just contemplate life. Maybe some of the emotions that have been rising up. Maybe some of the conversations you've been having with friends, with family, maybe some of the things they've been saying or you've been saying haven't come only from you, but there's a sense of God has been speaking as well. And I want us during this time to take the risk of thinking, I think God might be speaking to me. Because actually, we're all going to get it wrong, and we can all have a bit of grace for each other knowing that we're all going to get it wrong. That if you tell me, I think God's saying this to me, and I think you're wrong, actually I might be wrong as well. And the place we turn to first with discerning, is this God, or is this just me, or is this just someone else, is we turn to the Bible. If what you feel, if what you sense, actually this might be God, if it lines up with this, you're probably on a good track. If it doesn't line up with this, maybe it's not God, maybe it's just you, and that's okay. If it lines up with here, the next step to do is go to your friends, go to your family, and say, I think I'm hearing from God, and I think it might line up with this. What do you guys think? And as you guys talk, as you guys contemplate, figure it out, hopefully you can get the sense, is this God, is this not? So my challenge to you for the next 4 weeks is to have the courage to think, maybe some of these thoughts that are in my head, maybe some of these emotions that are rising up, maybe some of these conversations aren't just me, maybe they're God. And then have the courage to voice that to someone you trust. Maybe it's a leader, maybe it's your care group, maybe it's your parents, and say, I think God might be saying this. What do you guys think? All the best. God bless.